Right, how do I look right here? I feel like I'm being cut off. Can you see the bat up there? Welcome to SilverC Review. Can you see the bat? I scared him. I need to get away from him. Alright. Hopefully you could hear me. I don't know where the bat went. There was a bat flying around. He probably found a dark place to go. So, welcome to SilverC Review. If you're watching the video, you'll notice I'm in my dress clothes. It's super windy today, and I was going to go to a certain place, but there's a big field, and I was afraid that all it was going to be was wind noise. So, I decided on this place, and it didn't occur to me until I was about halfway here that I have dress clothes on and dress shoes on. So, whatever, I did it anyways, and that's that. So, if it's not evident when I'm taking notes on these movies, it's as I'm watching the movie. So a lot of times I'll say something and then it's revealed at the end or something like that. But I feel like that's more of a, I'm trying to give a natural how I view movies. So that's why I do it throughout the movie. The last video I was pretty proud of myself because I was continue talking with people behind me and felt like I was getting better at not focusing on them. Now at the very end, I cut it short on the quotes. I didn't really go into a whole lot of explanation because people were walking up. I keep expecting the bat to fly back by. People were walking up on me, and I kept going, but it had distracted me enough to where I got off track what I was talking about, so I just kind of ended it. So that's why that happened, but I'm actually so far away it's hard to see my notes. Should have made them bigger. Hopefully you can hear me alright. I guess I can boost it. There's no other noise that should be coming. That's something I'm starting to learn, because even last episode, I wasn't that close to the water, and still when I boosted the volume, you could hear the water quite a bit, and I guess I want to be as close to the action as possible, but at the same time, I don't want the noise to be affected. So I guess if I do moving water of any sort, I'll just have it in the background, like fairly far in the background, so that way you can't really hear it. Unless it's like a babbling brook, and even then, I don't know, I guess it's just rushing water that really seems to destroy the audio. And actually, I was thinking on the way out here, and they say if you ever need to think creatively, just go for a walk. You get way more ideas, and you can focus on more just by walking and getting the blood moving and everything. So on my hike out here, which I was mainly having to focus on the ground with my shoes, but I thought about at the end of the year, maybe, because right now I don't think anyone's watching my videos whatsoever, and I thought maybe at the end of the year, if I do want to keep going, I may, because I do have a few people listening to them, so I may actually just switch directly to audio. That would make things way easier, and I thought about just recording them in like a studio or something, but I still want the experience of being out in nature and any sound effects and things like that. And so I thought what I could do is I can just do sound recording. I can get a sound recorder and or use my phone, I guess, if it records high enough quality audio, and then take a few pictures while I'm out there, so that we still get to see where I'm at and everything, but it won't be a whole long video. So that's an idea that I might start at the end of the year whenever I stop doing the videos. So, where was I? I was always impressed by the people in California, because I watch a lot of Pokemon Go videos, and it's from a lot of people in California, and they're walking around, they're just constantly people all over the place, and they don't even pay any attention to them. Like, the people recording the videos, they're walking around holding it like this, talking like in restaurants and just all over the place. I'm like, how in the world do you reach that level where you can go without any distractions? I mean, like some things, like they'll turn and comment on something, but for the most part, they're able to stay on track, and I mean, they're not reading notes or anything, they've just got it all in their head, what to talk about and where to go, and I mean, it is super impressive, but something else to note is, or that I noticed, is that people there are used to that. They don't really, like, occasionally you'll get someone that'll do something, I'm being dripped on, that'll do something in the video, or you'll get people that are staring at them or something like that. But for the most part, I feel like there's so many people there walking around with cameras recording themselves that it's just become commonplace. Whereas where I'm at, if someone sees a camera, they just like, they stare at it and they're like, ooh, what is that? Is he famous? Should I try to get in this video? And it's like they've never seen a camera before. So like even people walking by, like they're staring at me the whole time trying to figure out what I'm doing, and that's what usually distracts me. So it's kind of a different world between here and California. But I much prefer this. I'd rather deal with a few people that stare at me than be ignored by hundreds of people around me. Alright, so I was, sorry, I'm trying to read this. Oh, I said I wouldn't bring up my storm again, and I just want to note on this. I just think it's ironic that I'm going through this right when I decided to record myself. Like, I've never done anything like this, and the year I start doing it is when this happens. So I just thought that was ironic. But anyways, hopefully that's the last time I bring it up. And that's another problem. Why I didn't have any clothes to change into today is because I'm now living 45 minutes from where I'm working, and I have to plan everything the night before and bring it. Like, used to, I worked 10 minutes from where I was, so, and that's where I record my videos, is where around the area that I work, so I could get my clothes and change if I need to, and I could recover from mistakes. But now there's no recovery. Like, I can't go all the way there and come all the way back. So that's part of another thing that's slightly affecting it. And I'm also doing a terrible job of uploading a daily picture. Not that it matters a whole lot, because not hardly anyone was looking at them, but I just wanted to throw that out there, that I do realize I'm doing a terrible job, and I can't really do much about it. Like, I've been trying to upload it, but upload a picture, but I mean, even the picture, it's not like I can just click upload. Like, I have to sit there and wait almost 3 minutes for the picture itself to upload, and if I'm doing it on multiple sites, it takes a lot of time, and I can't leave. At my previous location, I could just leave all those tabs open, so it was like a reminder, and here I have to close them down, because if I leave them open, it again slows down the internet, so it's just a hassle. I'm a very, like I said in a previous podcast, I'm a very routine type of person, and everything's just all over the place right now, so I haven't been able to get a routine down. I'm getting closer. I'm probably a couple weeks away from it, but it seems like every time I get close, something else happens, and it just throws everything else for a loop. But I am improving nonetheless, so I'll get there. I was watching Avengers Age of Ultron the other night, and if you listen to my Black Panther review, I mentioned how the guy with the robotic arm, I wasn't expecting him to have that, and I should have been expecting that if I had remembered him from Age of Ultron. I didn't even realize he was in there, but I was watching it, and I was like, oh, it's the guy that's in Black Panther. I was like, that's weird. I didn't know. Oh, he just said Wakanda, and he's dealing with vibranium. I was like, so I guess he definitely was linked in this movie, and then he gets his arm cut off. I was like, wow, I guess I should have been expecting him to have a robotic arm, so just wanted to throw that out there. I'm trying to, I think I said I was trying to, on my last podcast, figure out how to upload them, because I'm starting to reach limits and I don't want to pay for it yet. And I figured it out. I'm going to upload all my new episodes to SoundCloud, and I'll try to keep up some of the more popular episodes on SoundCloud, and all the other episodes, all the older episodes, will be on, I'll find the name just to make sure, Buzzsprout. The name of the website is Buzzsprout. It allows me 2 hours of upload time I think it's every month or every 2 weeks. And it also keeps all my podcasts on there for 90 days. So any of them that fall off, I should be able to add within that same amount of time and also upload my new ones. But I mean, I'm mainly going to use it for my older ones, so if I can't upload new ones on there, I'm not too worried about it. I was putting them on a website called Speaker, and I'll still do that. I'll just delete the older ones and upload new ones there. But there's a website called Podomatic that I was uploading to, and I'm going to stop on that one because I can't see the stats. I can't see if anyone is listening to them. You have to pay to be able to see something like that, and it has limits, and it's just not worth it. And like I said, there's no point in putting it on there if I can't tell if anyone's even being able to hear them. So I'm going to stop on that website. So YouTube will have all my episodes, and Buzzsprout should have all my episodes of the older ones, and I'll keep doing the newer ones on SoundCloud. And even that's going to take a little bit of getting used to. I kind of wish the bat would come back quiet, although I know at the same time it's freaking him out with me being here, and I don't like that. I know some of those other caves actually have signs saying that you can't go in them because of the bats, but that's more, there's a disease that was heading our way, and because of hikers not cleaning their gear, and they just kind of locked everything down, and it's been locked down for, I don't know, 4 or 5 years, and so I think that's more of why they had the signs on that. But, and this isn't even a cave, it's just a crack in the rock is what it's called, but it's more like a ravine or something. It's not that deep. Like where I was, I can just step up and climb out of it, so it's not really that bad. So anyways, where was I? I decided, I mentioned The Greatest Showman, how it was just what I needed last episode, and I decided to make it the soundtrack for this portion of my life. Like, it is just, I'm listening to the songs every single day, I downloaded them all, and they're just awesome. Like, upbeat, pump me up, and they have an awesome message in all of them. I actually am adding either 3 or 4 of them to my CD, and as I mentioned in the past, that's the best thing I can do for a song, is to consider it added to my CD, or actually add it to my CD. I'm not sure, I know at least 2 of them will stay on there for a very long time. I'm not sure once I get out of this phase if the other 2 will, but still, that's how much I like them. I'm willing to reburn my CD that I hardly ever reburn, maybe once or twice a year, just so I can add those on there, and I'm listening to them on my phone and stuff. If you're going through something tough, always keep an open mind, because you never know where what you need will show up, or just whether it be motivation or inspiration or whatever it is. Just always keep an open mind and don't ever throw anything out. That's kind of like when I have the rants about people not liking Japanese animation, or even animation in general, and they consider it kids movies and stuff. You can't be, I think that's very close-minded. There are so many important, I don't want to go too far on this because I've said it before, but there's so many important messages in animation that if you keep an open mind, you can still find stuff in it. So that's the reason why I hate them being considered kids, that stigma. But anyways, that applies to everything, not just kid shows and stuff like that. Anything in your life, if you're struggling with something, always keep an open mind, always look for the bright side and something that will help you out, because it's going to be different for everybody, but you can always find something that will help you, and a lot of times it'll surprise you where it comes from. I wanted to say some quotes from some of the songs, mainly the ones I'm adding to my CD. One of them is, you know you can't go back again to the world you were living in when you're dreaming with your eyes wide open. And I mean, if you're in a place, you don't necessarily, like I said, people don't necessarily change, but when you find out more of who you are meant to be, you can't go back to being the person you were. And if you have people around you that only liked that person that you were, that's it. That's too bad, because it's just not possible to, once you become more of who you are, and you shouldn't want to anyways. So, there's that one. What's waiting until tomorrow starts tonight. I love that segment of the song, because you can feel the emotion in him. He's like, what's waiting until tomorrow starts tonight. It starts tonight. And I mean, that's what, I'm a huge procrastinator anyways, but that's definitely a very motivational thing, is like, I'm not gonna wait until tomorrow. I'm not waiting anymore. I'm just doing it right now. So everything you want and everything you need is right in front of you, and a lot of times people don't realize you need very little for a happy life, and it usually is right in front of you. So just look at the big picture, but also don't lose sight of what's around you right now. And the last one is I am brave, I am bruised, I am who I'm meant to be. And that's my favorite song out of all these. I mean, that's why that last one I was like, this is me. And I feel like that's how everyone should feel, is doesn't matter what other people say, you have to be who you are. And it takes well, for me, it took a long, long time for me to figure out who I was meant to be. And but now that I have, I'm a very happy person, and I mean, just constantly trying out new things to see how this new me, how I not handle, but what this new me enjoys, I guess, is because it's like living in a different world, being a different person. I'm not changed. I still have all my roots, but it's just a much happier place, I guess. I think that's all the quotes. Oh yeah, the first quote I said is from Come Alive, the song, and honestly, I could quote about everything in that song, and it's all great. Like, that song in general, it's not quite my favorite, but on a quotable aspect, there's a lot in that song that's very meaningful. So anyways, we're gonna go on to the movie, and this time it is Tomb Raider. Hopefully I'm not cut off or anything like that. This is going to be a spoiler warning. If you've not seen the movie, I do not plan to hold anything back. I don't feel like there's a whole lot to spoil in this, but I mean, honestly, I felt like it was a super cliche movie. But anyways, I'm giving it a 4 out of 10, and this review is going to be one of my more negative reviews, not quite as bad as like Dinner, what was it, Beatrice at Dinner? And Ghost Story, but like, I mean, I'm still giving it a 4 out of 10. I would still, it was definitely, not definitely, it was worth my time watching it, but like, if I had missed it, I probably would have been too sad if I had known. Anyways, we'll just get into the review. I'm not a big fan of her age, of her being so young, and even then, I never did look up how young the actual actor is, but I'm not sure how young she's being portrayed in the film, because at one point it does a flashback with her dad, and she looks to be young, but not too far off from how old she is now. I guess that was the last time that she ever saw him, because now we're 7 years later, and I mean, I guess she was college. Yeah, because he asked if she went to college, and she said no, and she did have a job. So I guess she was supposed to be college age, like 18, 19, whatever that is, 20. I don't know. Maybe she just looked overly young, but it was a little too young for her to be in the role that she was playing, for me. I already talked about it being kind of a negative review. I went into this movie pretty much blind. I think I saw one trailer, and even then I don't really remember it much. I don't know if it just didn't suck me in or what. I mean, I'm a big Tomb Raider fan. I've played the games. I actually own the newest game, but I haven't played it yet because me and a friend, we usually play through games together. Like, even though they're single player, we'll get 2 TVs side by side, and then we just play through it, and that way we can help each other, and it's more of it's almost like playing multiplayer, but we're playing 2 single player games. We've done that since junior high, so that's something even now that we do, but I haven't played this one yet. And apparently this movie was heavily based on that game, and I kind of looked that up later. I was like, man, is this supposed to resemble the game or something? And it is. A lot of it's from the game, which that's kind of odd, because a lot of times, well, most of the time, they make games based on the movies, and I'm not sure there's too many times that there's movies based on games. I mean, I know I just did Ready Player One, but that wasn't like a specific video game that they just decided to make a movie about. So, I think I jumped ahead. I may have to skip something later. But, anyways, so I didn't know very much going into it. It's got a super cliche start, and honestly, the whole movie is very, very cliche to me. I mean, just everything. There was nothing that was a surprise to me in this movie. Like, it uses all of the classic like, oh, her dad's disappeared and she's wanting to search for him, and there's someone, I know it's his death certificate, but it's kind of like a will, and someone's trying to get at her stuff, and she's this rich person that doesn't want to use the money. She wants to be a hard worker, and she's a fighter and does wrestling. And even later on in the movie, where they had the part where she could choose to shoot the bad guy and let her dad die, or surrender to him, and just there's so much going on in this movie that has happened in other movies. Like, I don't think I know of anything new this movie did. And I know a lot of action movies are that way. They don't really portray anything new. They just go with the old and make it big and explosive, but I don't know. It seemed like this movie abused that. Oh, I actually listed all of them on here. I should have just read that. Also, her being clever was kind of cliche. Her being better than the boys. Like, I don't remember seeing if there were any girl writers, but it seemed like they were mostly all boys, and she had to be better than they were and prove herself. That's another one. Which, I guess if this was an origin story, I'll kind of talk about that later. Of course, the bad guy not knowing the dad is involved or is alive, and it didn't really play to his advantage all that much. And when the worker guy is sick and him killing him, I mean, that's been in a million movies, that someone falls down and to show this guy's evil, they just take him out, they don't care, and all of it has been seen before. So anyways, I saw the message in that little puzzle thing from like a mile away. As soon as she grabbed it, it was like, well, there's going to be a clue or something inside that. And she just instantly solved it. Like, I don't care how many times you've played with puzzles like that. If you just instantly solve it, it's not much of a puzzle. So, that was kind of pathetic. Again, another cliche. Oh, I thought it was kind of stupid how the attorney or lawyer or whatever he was like not a fighter at all. Like, he told her that she had to sign the papers in order to get the thing from her dad, and she gets up and just leaves with the thing that she was not supposed to get until she signed the papers. He even made a point of saying that. And the evil woman that was there, that we later find out is evil, she should have said something too, but like, no, you need to sign these papers and then you can have that clue. Like, security, they're in this huge building. Surely they have security that can stop them. They have the front desk people. So, that was kind of stupid how she was able to just walk away. The guy on the boat, whenever they wreck, that was the calmest I've ever heard someone say, we've lost all control. Like, she runs in there and they wreck, and he's just like, we've lost all control. But even, I think I just said it more energetically than he did. He was just like, we've lost all control. We have to get off this boat. And it was very, very calm. It was weird. Everything in the movie seemed, if it wasn't cliche, it was coincidental. Like, everything that was happening was like, she was just super lucky. Like, she didn't have any skill at all. I know she was athletic, and she definitely was a fighter and strong-willed, and clever. But beyond those things, I feel like the other Tomb Raiders, she's always prepared and she's always one step ahead of the other people she's going against. I mean, sure, there's times that they get the upper hand on her, but that's what I thought made the Tomb Raider, was she researched and she cared about the things that she was trying to rescue or trying to stop the other people. Like, if it was an artifact, she cared about it going to, from what I remember, she cared about it going to a museum instead of being taken and sold by the other people. That's why she was there. I know she fought against them, and sometimes it's just to stop them from doing something evil, but in this one, it seemed like she was mainly just searching for her dad, and then I know at the end she starts to care, but she didn't know anything that was going on. She had some wits that she could figure out some of the clues, but she just wasn't ever prepared, and so I thought that was kind of weird. Wasn't a huge fan of it, and like I said, I don't know if it's, I'm trying to see if I mentioned, no, I guess I didn't. if this is just an origin story and that's what they were trying to play it as, then I can kind of understand her not being prepared. If this is just showing how she becomes the Tomb Raider, and maybe that's also why she's so young, so they can make more movies like that. And I mean, I can accept that, but I don't know. There's no way to tell the viewers, hey, this is an origin story, so don't go too heavy on it. We just got to set things up. Which, I mean, I hate the 20 million Spider-Man origin stories that we've had and all the other ones. So it's like, just go with it. I don't care if it's bad. Make the movie better. Don't keep giving us a different origin story with a different company. Which that doesn't even apply to this movie, but see, I already talked about the game. Oh, why does the bad guy always, like the main bad guy, he's always got way better aim than everyone else around him. Like, he just uses a pistol. The other guys got, like, assault rifles and stuff, and they're shooting and constantly missing, and he just pulls out a pistol and shoots them and hits them right off the bat. And that happens in every movie. Like, the main bad guy is always 20 times better than anyone else at shooting, and that's just really weird. Like, do they just... I feel like he doesn't have time to constantly practice. He wouldn't have any more time than these other people. So, if anything, he was less military than the people around him, so I feel like they should have better aim than him. When they finally get to the cave entrance and he puts in, or she puts in the code to knock down the door, it literally just crumbles and falls down, and there's rock all around it. Could they not have just blown up the rock, and then the door would have just fallen backwards? Like, even if you don't know it, did they not try? And plus, it was just rock, like this. I'm pretty sure if you put explosives around me right now, you would make a dent in it, at least. And, I don't know, I thought that was kind of lame. It's like, he's been trying all this time to get the code right, and he could have just, like, blown up everything around it. You would think the kind of person he is, that's what he would do. It was kind of weird how the disease or whatever they acquire from touching the dead skeleton person was turn them into like a zombie. Like, I can understand rotting away. I don't think there's anything that can make you rot that quickly, but I mean, they were trying to make it non-mythical, I believe, and make it more of like a disease or something, a pathogen, but and it doesn't really go on it much, but it seemed like, I mean, that one guy, he had to shoot him because he was charging him, and then the other guy later attacks the dad, and they're acting like zombies, or like they've lost their mind, and I don't know if it's just out of pain, or if that's part of it. I mean, obviously it didn't explain it, but that was kind of weird. Like, I felt like they would be fine just dying. There wasn't a need. I guess later in the movie, to attack the dad, that part was needed, but I didn't like that. At the end of the movie, when she's fighting the guy, and also when she's running out of the cave, her little scared scream got kind of annoying. Like, I know you're gonna scream if something pops out at you, like if the bat right now flew right past my head, I would probably be like, ah! Something like that. But it was like every single time, like you're running out of a cave that's collapsing around you, things are gonna be all around you, and just every time she's like, ah! 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 And it kind of got annoying. I could have done without that. Like I said, negative review, sorry. There just wasn't a whole lot of a wow and amazing factor for me to comment on in this movie. Like I said, everything was a cliche, and it was like, well, I've seen it before, so there's no point in commenting on it, and so, I don't know. That's about it. I really liked that she got the two guns at the end, so it relates it back to the other ones, and of course she figures out that the lady is evil and she's behind all this, which... Okay, so I just figured out that apparently my camera will only record for 30 minutes. I guess none of my videos have gone over 30 minutes, and I just happened to notice that it was closed, which means it had turned off, so I'm going to try to pick up where I was. I was talking about the ending, and when the whole sequence goes where she finds out that the lady's evil, or she thinks the lady's evil, I didn't really care for that, because it wasn't very satisfying. I mean, it didn't... You don't really know if it is her, she's just assuming it is, and I mean, I guess that sets up room for a sequel, because now she has someone to go against, and maybe it's the main bad guy now, but I don't know, it didn't really show that the lady had done anything, and even then, she wasn't like, oh yeah, I think it's her. Man, there's mosquitoes out already. So, wasn't a big fan of that. I can't remember if I've already gotten to the part where I talked about the guns, but I really liked that they did the guns. That was a fan service thing, and I'm a fan, so I was serviced, and that was awesome. So at least that part, like the actual ending was very awesome, but what I would consider the movie ending was lacking. So anyways, we're going to go on to, man, I said all this. We're going to go on to The Croods. And this is going to be my movie recommendation. This is from 2013. It is an animated movie, and it is by DreamWorks. DreamWorks makes some excellent animated movies. The description says, prehistoric family of the Croods live in a particularly dangerous moment in time. Grug and his mate Olga, teenage daughter Eep, son Thunk, and feisty Gran gather food by day and huddle in a cave by night. When a more evolved caveman named Guy arrives in the scene, Grug is disgruntled, but soon it becomes apparent that Guy is correct about the impending destruction of their world. And it's neat because there's not a whole lot I can spoil in this movie, but it's neat because they're scared of very simplistic things, and it really plays on their lack of knowledge, being cavemen. And it doesn't talk about this much in the description, but it mainly focuses on his daughter Eve. She's the dreamer person that wants to risk it all to explore and to find out who she is. And I mean, I admire people like that are really working hard to find out who they are. And her and her father disagree on a lot because he wants to keep them safe, and he also doesn't want to change anything about what he does. He's a very traditional person. Traditional traditions keep them safe, so that's what they have to do. And she's more of, let's take some risk, find out some new things. And of course, when they meet the other guy, or the other caveman named Guy, he's got like shoes, and he's got way advanced knowledge, and he's kind of surprised that they're so far behind what his knowledge base is. And I mean, he's a nice person, he's helping them out and everything, but there's just a big clash there. But it is a very funny movie. I just started talking without actually reading my notes, but I said what I was going to write down, so that means I have to just sit there and read a bunch. I found the movie hilarious. My mom actually didn't like the movie, and growing up, me and her were the two that watched animated movies all the time. My dad's one of the more, hopefully he doesn't hear me say this, but one of the more closed-minded people when it comes to animation. He just can't seem to get past it being a cartoon, and can't seem to focus on the message and the emotions expressed and stuff like that. But my mom's always been right there with me, so it was really surprising when she didn't like this movie. But I don't know, each to their own. Everyone has their personal preference, but I still highly recommend it. Just because I find it funny, and I found the messages good, and my arm is really getting wet from this. I don't know where the water's coming from. It hasn't rained in quite a while. It's got lots of themes in it. Talks about family, trust, being open-minded, accepting change and evolving. I know being cavemen and evolving, but it's just got a lot going on. And of course, it's got a very happy ending. Everything works out. I don't think that's going to spoil anything for being a movie like that, being an animated movie, because they usually work. Okay, this is going to be the last time. My camera doesn't like me today. I'm just stupid. Apparently I ran out of memory on my card, so I had to delete some other videos, because I don't usually delete them right when I take them off, because I don't get to edit them right when I take them off, and I'm afraid that if something happens to my computer, I'll lose the videos, so I don't like deleting them until after I've edited them. So anyways, my video stopped yet again, so we're going to try to pick up where I was. I was talking about the Croods, the themes. I felt that it was very well expressed. I said it had a happy ending. It's also very well animated. I mean, it's not on the same level as like Coco or something, but it's still very beautiful for the area that it's at. So highly recommend that movie. And man, I had just said the quotes and I talked about them. I did like a long thing on them too. This whole video is very long. I'm very talkative today because it's my normal 2 pages. I don't know what's going on. Quotes. I may not be there yet, but I am closer than I was yesterday. And that's just a good way. You can use that as motivation or whatever you need, to inspiration to keep going, but don't just focus on, man, I've been trying so hard, I'm still not there yet. Try to focus on, I've been trying so hard and look at what I've accomplished so far. Like, who cares if you're not there yet? You're still getting closer, and as long as you're continuing to progress, and you'll get there eventually. So, and it can be even little things. I think people don't realize the little things they change in their life. Actually, I'm going to do this on the next quote, sorry. I got ahead of myself. See, this is why I don't rehearse stuff, because my thoughts combine together if I've already said them. Like, I had said this, but it was a natural thought the first time I said it, so it went with the second quote. So anyways, that's why I don't rehearse stuff, because I make mistakes like this. The happiest people don't have the best of everything, but they make the best of everything, and that describes my life to a T. I mean, I certainly don't have the best of everything. I've never had the best of everything. Like, I've always been, like, back in school when other kids they had the Game Boy Color, I was just getting the Game Boy, and I've always been, like, a console. Until I got my own money, I was always a console behind, but I mean, I was lucky to even have a console. That's part of it, is I always knew that I was lucky to have the stuff I had. It's just, and to me, it made me value the stuff more, but that's part of making the best of what you have. And I mean, there are some things in my life that I go ahead and I spend the money on, like my motorcycle suit. I bought name brand because it's 4-season. I can just wear it over everything. It makes my life a world easier to have that as compared to like something cheaper. Because I mean, I started off, before I knew that I really wanted to ride my motorcycle a lot, I started off with something cheap. So I knew how much I would value something like that, and it was worth the money. Same thing with like a bed. You spend so much time in a bed that it's worth the money to get a nice one that's not going to leave you sore. And same thing with a vehicle. You spend a lot of time, most people spend a lot of time driving, so get something that you don't regret getting into every single day. Like, it doesn't have to be your dream car, although I do happen to own my dream car, even though it's kind of falling apart, but that's a long story. But anyways, it's those little things in life that you change that can really make a world of difference. I don't think people realize that I like to say that I customize my life for happiness, and that's because it's just, I change little things. Like, if something annoys me more than 2 days in a row, it's getting changed. Because if you just remove, you'd be surprised, if you just remove those little annoyances, that your whole day flows so much better. Like, for example, in the place I'm staying at, it didn't have a bath mat, like one of those non-slip things, and so every time I would try to lift up my feet to scrub them, it was slick, and I was having to hang on to stuff, and it would annoy me. And it wasn't like a major annoyance, it definitely wasn't ruining my day or anything like that, but it was still a minor annoyance that was happening on a daily basis every time I take a shower. So, bought a bath mat. I mean, simple, cheap solution, and even then, the first time I bought it, the drain is right in the middle, and I bought just like one of those oval bath mats, and I tried positioning it in several different locations, and it's got holes in it, so I could cover the drain. It would be fine, but that, again, it wasn't to my standards. Like, if I covered the drain, then every time I get in, I'm like, well, should it not be covering the drain? So I finally came up with, I just cut it in half, and that was perfect. Like, it is perfect. It's the part I cut fits perfectly where my one foot goes, and the other part is where my other foot goes. And now every time I get in the shower, it's a relief. I can look down, I'm like, yes, this is perfect. This is exactly the way I want it. And that's what I do to all of the things in my life. Like, if you customize just everything that annoys you, you'll be such a happier person. And just the little things add up on an everyday basis. And that's kind of making the best of everything. I mean, even the camera I have it's a nice camera. It's a really nice camera. And the reason I spent the money on it is because I carry it in my pocket at all times. I've got a little hard case, and being a freelance photographer, I always love being able to take pictures, and I'm constantly seeing things I want to take pictures of. So that's why I put the money. But even then, I bought it used, and it's 2 models. I think mine's an RX 3, and they have an RX, at the time they had RX 5. I don't know if they've gone past that yet. But anyways, so even then, for it being an expensive camera, I still bought down. So I've never had the best of everything, but I can certainly make the best of everything, and that's what counts. Alright, last thing, jokes. Well, kind of last thing. What do you call dental x-rays? Toothpicks. And never spell part A backwards because it's a trap. Right. I'm not really sure what the next movie will be. I'm thinking maybe Pacific Rim or Game Night, but we'll have to see what else comes out. I haven't had time to look at anything. I haven't had time to do anything. I'm barely getting this stuff done, but like I said, it's getting better, but right now it's just everything's a whirlwind. But I don't think it really matters because no one seems to listen to my stuff right when I put it out anyways, so it doesn't really matter. No one's looking forward to the next movie. If you're listening to this, you can see for apparently a limited time, possibly a limited time, you can see all my videos on YouTube. And that way, when I'm climbing around on the rocks like I am now, and if you want to know what all the weird sounds are in the background, if there are any, you can watch the video and see. And all my videos will be on YouTube, and you can also listen to all the older episodes on Buzzsprout. And I'm trying to do a picture a day, kind of nature or just something awesome on Flickr, Pinterest, and Twitter. And you can just go to search SilverC Review. Flickr is SilverC_review, and I'm SilverC Review on all the different websites. If you search it, hopefully I'll come up. So that's gonna be all for this video. Take care.